It feels like it has been forever since I filmed a video, which it kind of has. I honestly don't know. What even was my last video? I don't even know. It's been a hot second because I have been, obviously you can tell behind me, things are going to start disappearing. Actually, probably next week's video, everything behind me will pretty much be gone because I am moving soon. And I was just on a bachelorette party trip this past weekend, so that's why you guys are only getting one video. Because also Take My Hand releases next Monday. And yeah, it's just, I've got a lot going on, so I haven't had time to film 2 videos. But anyways, today I'm back with another trope recommendation, which is Why Choose. I have not done a Why Choose recommendation video in over a year, but I love this trope so much. It's one that I read quite frequently, and I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys some more recs for it. So, because why have 1 when you can have 5? Anyways, let's jump in. Haven by Astra Rose. So this one is a novella. So if you are looking for something short, sweet, and to the point, and also if you're looking for more hot than plot, check out Haven. So this one follows our heroine. It's 1 girl and 3 guys. So our heroine, she's running from her abusive ex-boyfriend, or like boyfriend, but like she's broken up with him and she's left him and she is running. However, her car ends up breaking down on the side of the road and she ends up walking and finding this random bar like down the road. And inside there are 2 men. She ends up asking them for help and they are like, hey, yeah, we can help fix your car. Like not only can we help tow it and everything, but also we have a garage. We can help fix up your car. And both of them instantly are like, I think she needs our help. And they're both kind of like instantly into her. And they also end up offering her a place to stay as well and kind of like seeking refuge with them. And when she arrives, she realizes that they both also live with their father. So here's the thing. Let me explain the blood dynamics really quick. One of the sons and the father are like actual father and son. Obviously, there's nothing going on between them. There's nothing going on between any of the guys. And then the other son is like an adopted son that was like the best friend of the other son. You'll get into it anyways, but that's how like the dynamic kind of plays out. So there's 2 younger, 1 older. And when they arrive, the dad is like, oh, we can't be harboring this woman here. Like, no, she can't be involved in any of our business or like potentially bring someone like sniffing around us because they are involved in some interesting things, which you can go ahead and read and find out. But anyways, it ends up being her romance with all 3 of them. And yeah, it's just very enjoyable. People have compared it to Credence. I think it's just because of the dynamic of being like the 1 hero is older and then the 2 are like the sons. I don't know, but like these ones, like I said, aren't all like actually related to each other. I don't know. I don't personally feel like this gives Credence energy, except for the fact of like that's how the dynamics kind of lay out. But it is really fun. It's to the point. It's dramatic. It's fast-paced. Give it a go if you're looking for something fun. Next up, I got a Rockstar one, and one that actually I have been meaning to continue on with this series since I read this first book last year, and that's Poison Roses by Tate James and Jamin Eve. So this one is a Rockstar Why Choose. So our heroine in this one, she witnesses a crime that one of her exes has committed, and he sees her and knows that she's seen what has happened because he's a very bad like business mafia dude. And she's like, I need to run. And she ends up running, but she ends up running into the band, some of the band members of Belrose when they are in town for a show, and she ends up seeking refuge with them. However, she fully knows who she is seeking refuge with because the like leader of that band is actually also her ex and her childhood like best friend, first love kind of thing. They broke up and they hate each other now and they haven't spoken in years. When he sees her, he's like, oh, absolutely not. You're not like seeking refuge with us. But the other members of the band kind of end up overriding him and she ends up on tour with them, kind of seeking refuge. But the main guy is like not happy to have her back around. Like he still really hates her and you find out why. This is really fun. And again, with the mafia dynamics thrown in there as well and like the kind of on the run plot, I'm really intrigued by it. I had read the first book last year And then, I don't know, I think I just got sidetracked. I always end up getting sidetracked and I never ended up keeping on going with the series. So this is a series that I definitely want to finish up because even in this first book, not all of her relationships with all of the guys, I feel like were really like fully explored yet, obviously because there are more books to come. So I'm really looking forward to continuing on with it. If you want one that like is going to have that like thread of like a bit of a suspense plot kind of running in the mix, you know, you want some like good plot balance with everything else, then I think this is a really good one to check out. And also Rockstar, y'all know me. I always love a Rockstar romance. What can I say? I love them. I love them and I miss writing them very much. I'm having a great time with sports and with Caleb and TJ, the couple that I'm writing right now, but I really miss rock stars. They're just so fun. Okay, anyways, Distrust by G.N. Wright. So this is a 4-book series as well. I've read the first 2, loved them, and this is an MC, Why Choose, and also a friends to enemies to lovers romance. So our heroine in this one, oh, and I forgot to say, I think in Poison Roses there's 4 guys, and then I think maybe the Mafia X potentially comes in the mix. I don't know if he's actually friend or foe. I don't know. I don't quite remember. But this one, it is 3 guys. So our heroine in this one, her dad is the president of the Hollowed Crows MC, and he has really done his best to kind of keep her away from club business all of her life. And so she's been living with an aunt, whatever. But then when she's a teenager, she is curious, obviously, about her dad and what he's doing. So she ends up, hi, Dorian. Hi, buddy. So she ends up jumping over the fence into like the MC's compound. And when she does that, she ends up meeting these 3 guys. They're all like a little bit older than her, but she kind of like strikes up a friendship with them. And when her dad is like, okay, I can't really keep you away anymore, then you're just gonna be coming around, whatever. And she grows up and is friends with all of them. And then on her 18th birthday, she ends up making her move. She wants all 3 of her best friends, and she accomplishes just that. However, the next morning, they are all gone, and then she disappears, and she is gone for 2 years, and she was actually kidnapped by the mayor. And then now where we are at in present day, where the bulk majority of the story takes place, we are learning her time in captivity and what happened, and then also why the 3 guys hate her so much when she's rescued and returned to her. And now her father has passed, so now one of her friends is now the head of the MC, and he hates her. I mean, obviously she's the daughter of the fallen motorcycle club president, so like he'll let her back into the fold kind of, but like he is not happy that she is there, and they all have their reasons for hating each other. And it's her romance with the 3 of them, and also 2 of the guys are also together, which love that. I really enjoyed these 2 books so far. I will for sure be finishing the series at some point. It's dark. I mean, obviously check your triggers on any of these, but this one I would say so far is probably the darkest one that I've talked about. Really, really enjoyed it. And actually, I think out of all of the ones that I've talked about so far, the dynamics between the 4 of these characters are probably my favorite. They just have a lot of history and pain between all of them, and they just have a really hard time getting on the same page and getting over past hurts, which like is it makes it very fun to read about and kind of keeps you on your toes the entire book. Next up, okay, so this one is technically a poly book, but I want to talk about it because it fits into the dynamic of like, why have 1 when you can have 4? But yeah, everyone is all together, and it is literally god tier book series for me. I love this series so much, and that is The Losers Duet by Harley LaRue. So I've talked about this series, I genuinely don't even know how many times on my channel here, and every single time I'm not really quite sure where to start with it, because you should read The Dare, which is the novella, before jumping into The Losers Duet. The Dare is literally 4 chapters. Like, it is so quick, it's so fast, it's so entertaining, and it does provide so much backstory for these characters. So I do think that you should start with The Dare, so I'm going to give a brief overview of that and then kind of like where The Losers Duet actually starts. But this story follows Jessica, Manson, Lucas are my 2 faves, and then Jason Vincent. Also, I love all of these characters, but just Manson and Lucas are where it's at for me. So where The Dare starts, Jessica was very much like the popular girl in high school. She was very much like the all-American kind of girl, dating like the popular guy, friends with the popular people, cheerleader, whatever. And she was a bit of a bully, and she was a bit of a bitch, to be honest. Now, years later, she's in college, and she ends up returning back to her hometown for a Halloween party, and there's a bunch of like high school friends there. However, she's not really like as connected with that group anymore. But when she shows up to this party, she ends up seeing Manson. And Manson, she was not nice to in high school whatsoever. And they actually had a little bit of a moment that she like refuses. She's never told anyone about. She doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to think about it. That she had a moment with a quote unquote loser like Manson. But Manson, he's kind of doing it for her now, and she hates that. She hates it. And when he ends up challenging her to a game of truth or dare, like beer pong at this party, she ends up getting kind of tied into it. And when she does lose, however, though, and she ends up having to do whatever Manson wants for the rest of the night, she kind of feels like unleashed by that, because she would never allow herself to have these feelings or indulge in these things. They end up having a great night together, and the 3 other guys, you see like glimpses of them. They come in towards the end of it, but it's really mostly focused on Jessica and Manson. And then where The Losers Duet duet picks up. It is now, I think, like a year after the Halloween party, maybe 2 years, and they have not really spoken. Jessica and Manson have not spoken since then, and you find out like why. And she is back now living at home after graduating college while she's looking for a job. And Manson, Lucas, Vincent, and Jason are all living in town still. And when Jessica ends up becoming indebted to them with her car and needing to get it fixed, they end up arranging a creative way for her to help pay back her debts. I love this duet so much. Truly, the found family in this book is one of my favorite found families I've ever read. I think it's like literally only comparable to maybe like the Throne of Glass found family for me. Like truly these characters just like love and respect each other so much. And I just love them. This is also like literally the spiciest things I've ever read. The Losers Duet is just insane. But it's so fun. The emotional depth is there. The character development is there. I love all of these people and they just deserve the most peace and happiness in the entire world. And yes, everyone is together. So it's not just like the heroine is with all the guys. Everyone's together and I absolutely love it. Okay, next up, a bit of an oldie. I read this one years ago, but actually I don't think I've talked about it in a Why Choose recommendation video before, and that is The Dancers in the Mask by B. Page. So I think it's called the Their Obsession Duet. It's 2 books. And it is our heroine and 3 guys. So our heroine, when she was younger, she was actually in a house fire and she was rescued. And kind of since then, she's been able to have these like premonitions a little bit. I honestly don't know how to describe this book. It's not like paranormal because there's not like werewolves or vampires or anything, but there is like a bit of like a mystical element to it. I don't really know if that makes sense, but she has like these visions, and she ends up having a vision of these 3 masked men coming and kidnapping her and taking her away when she's like an adult. That ends up coming true. These 3 masked men do come, they take her away, and they take her to like their big medieval castle type place to dance in their twisted show that they put on for all of these billionaires. And when she arrives, she realizes that there are also other like acts there that are also captives, but there's just a lot of mystery about these 3 masked men, and I will just and I don't really want to get into anything else because I don't really know I can't remember like what is just in the blurb and like what I know just because I've read it, so I'm gonna kind of leave it at that. But there also is a bit of a background connection between these 4 characters that is revealed as the story goes on, and these 3 masked men are powerful billionaire mafia type people. Okay, it's dark. Once again, check your triggers on this one. It's obviously captive and they're not very nice to her, so just a heads up on that. I personally love this duet. I thought it was a lot of fun. Very different from anything that I've ever read. Like I can't really think of anything that I would compare this to. Let's go with a monster one. You want just some insane monster stuff? A Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. Or is it The Company of Fiends? It doesn't matter. This book. Okay, so technically Lady of Rooksgrave Manor is book number 1 and this one is book number 2. You don't have to read Lady of Rooksgrave Manor in order to read this one. You just see what the Company of Fiends kind of is about in book 1 because it is a circus type performance with monsters and human women, and it's a sort of show. You know what kind of show I'm talking about right now. And our characters go and watch it in the first book, which that was like my favorite part of that entire book. I was like, this is so cool. So then when Catherine Moon wrote this one, I was so excited for it. And this is really fun. So Hazel is our heroine in this one. And I can't remember. I think she's maybe a human, or else she's like half human, half nymph, maybe. I don't remember. She's something that she's keeping her like true heritage a secret because it could potentially be dangerous for her. But anyways, she has been in the Company of Fiends for years. She really loved the work that she was doing. She loved getting to get up on stage, enjoy herself with all of these monsters. But after the years, they've kind of taken a toll on her, and she's just kind of like disillusioned with the whole thing. And she's kind of looking for a way out. However, a new customer comes around that is kind of intriguing for her. However, then women start going missing from the circus at the same time, and they are being killed. And so then they have this like murder mystery that they're trying to find. And also Hazel is obviously worried for her safety as well. And her band of monsters that is all in love with her are also worried for her safety and are going to do whatever they can to I was going to say survive her, to protect her. God, can you tell I haven't filmed a video in a while? Anyways, it ends up being her romance with a bunch of monsters. I can't even remember the exact amount. Is it like 5 or 6 monsters maybe? I honestly don't even know. This book was just so wild. It was so fun. I really liked the murder mystery plot going in the middle of it all. And yeah, if you I don't read a ton of monster books, so like I can't really speak on, I guess, like the world building of these monsters, but for me they were really cool and also easy to follow and like understand as someone who doesn't read a lot of monsters. Okay, we got 2 more. Let's go with a mafia one. First Comes Blood by Lilith Vincent. Again, another, I don't know if this is a series or duet, but I do need to finish it. I've only read this first book and I really enjoyed it. And once again, I don't know why, I think I just got distracted. So our heroine in this one, she is the daughter of the mayor of this town. However, when she is 17 years old, her dad is in some bad waters with his business and with his electoral campaign and stuff. So he ends up hatching a deal with 4 of the most ruthless mafia leaders in his area that he will marry his daughter when she turns 18 off to one of them in order to help like secure some of his business stuff. So on her 17th birthday, these 4 men are invited over to their mansion and she is brought downstairs and completely blindsided by this. And these 4 men are giving strict instructions of like they are not to like obviously be with her before her next birthday, but it is kind of like a fight for her hand in marriage. And all 4 of them are very interested in her and want her, and they're all varying levels of psychotic, and it's just a really fun time. Her dad's a piece of garbage, so then these guys are kind of offering her like a bit of a way out, and she's very reluctant to this obviously, but then she realizes like, is this a potential way out? I don't want to end up like my mother. And so obviously by the end of this one, like one hasn't been chosen yet. And yeah, I can't really honestly even remember how this one leaves off. It did end off in a cliffhanger, but it was just so fun. Lilith Vincent's writing moves quickly, which I appreciate. Her pacing is like perfect when you're just like needing to kind of like get things moving along. You know, you don't really have a lot of time to sit down and be reading. So then whenever you do, you're like, I need things to kind of like move at a clipped pace. That is her books and I love them and I appreciate them for that fact. So anyways, I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, I need to keep going on with the series. Okay, and last but not least is The Daymakers by Grace McKinty. So this is the most recent one that I read. I just read this one earlier this month. And here's the thing with this one. Just let yourself enjoy the ride, okay? This is truly for the people who don't really want any sense of like, there's not a lot of realism to be, I mean, is there a lot of realism to be found in the monster one or in the mafia one that I was just talking about? Not really. But this one too, just kind of let yourself enjoy the ride. All right. Just kind of suspend your disbelief here for a moment. So our heroine in this one, oh, again, another escaping an abusive ex and hiding out on tour with a rock band. Like Poison Roses has more going on. But our heroine in this one, right at the beginning of the book, you see her boyfriend abusing her, and she, again, check triggers on this one, and she ends up running. She ends up climbing and scaling a fence and hiding underneath a tour bus, and she is found by the band's security, by one of the guards, is basically telling him, like, you can't let me go back out there. And he sees the state that she is in, and he is like, nope, like, I won't let you do that. And he ends up letting her hide out, kind of take refuge with them for the evening until they get to their next tour stop, basically, to help her get away from her ex. And then when they're at this next tour stop, she overhears their manager talking about how the band is in some trouble again because they are a masked band. No one knows their identity. And one of the main members of the band, he almost had his identity leaked because of a hookup, like unmasking him, you know, in the moment and threatening to out him and the members of this band of their real identities. And that can't happen. The band is already in a lot of hot water with their label and everything. So they're like, we just need someone who can just like be around for them when they need. And our heroine's like, what else do I have going on? I volunteer for the job opportunity. And they're like, we cannot let you do that. You are running from your ex. You are not in the right state to be doing that. And she's like, trust me, I want to do this. And she ends up just going on tour with them to basically be, you know, available for them. That's the book. Let me tell you, it was a quick read, lots of spice. But she's also with the band and then also with the one security guard who found her, which is fun. And 2 of the band members are together, but sadly you don't ever see those 2 band members really ever together, which was, I felt a little robbed by that. But anyways, it ends up being her romance with the band. It was enjoyable. It was a really quick and fast-paced read as well. And like I said, if you just want to be able to just kind of like go into something and just have a good time with it, then I think this is a really good one to pick up. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Like I said, although actually, so this week I'm only having the one video up. I do think next week I'm going to try to have two, because I will have my Take My Hand. Oh my God, I haven't edited that yet. Oh, I just realized that. I have my Take My Hand writing vlog that will go up on release day on Monday. I mean, that'll be a long one, so that'll make up, I feel like, for almost 3 videos. And then potentially I'll have one on Friday then still. I don't know, just because since I'm doing one so early on in the week, I might do one on Friday. I guess we will have to wait and see. But I am moving next week. I'm very, very excited. So yeah, I don't know. Don't hold me to that. But for sure, I mean, like I said, for sure, my Take My Hand writing vlog will be up on Monday. I can't believe that. I can't believe that it's already here. So anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.